really can't deny that gaming is big business in Australia. With 68% of Aussies playing games now, retail sales in 2014 saw a 20% increase to nearly $2.5 billion. The state of Australian game development is less impressive though, with bigger studios now being a rare sight. Following the effects of the global financial crisis, the local scene was hit hard. Studios like Chrome in Brisbane, Blue Tongue in Melbourne, and Canberra's 2K Australia have since downsized or shut their doors.
Publishers don't have the money for it anymore. You'll find a lot of the market shifted from console games. And when that happened publishers thought, well, we can have smaller budgets. That just sort of transferred over to developers.
But it's not just publishers holding back the potential for studios to set up. Even through Kickstarter and other crowdfunding opportunities, studios like Astrobay Games still aren't guaranteed solid ground to form and thrive on.
We find that it's really hard to fund, like in Australia. This is the first time we've been kickstarting, but we had some friends from the other incubator areas that had trouble trying to get 15K, and we're just like we went for 20, and we're like, it's like a really huge stretch in itself.
To make matters worse, game developers don't have access to the same tax breaks and government grants that the film and television industries do. Something you could argue comes down to how games and interactive media are perceived as a legitimate art form.
I don't understand why the significance of this industry isn't better recognized. There's huge potential. If you take a look at the quality of the games, the bar keeps on getting raised. It's just amazing, really.
But in amidst all this talk of cutbacks, closures, and missed opportunity, a small but determined indie scene is fighting to keep Australia relevant in the global game development industry.
There's actually so many developers that are new faces all the time. And yeah, some great people in game development.
After a huge drop in the number of Aussie-based devs between 2006 and 2012, the industry still hasn't recovered. To find out why, the Environment and Communications References Committee led an inquiry into the state of Australia's video game development scene and reported its findings at the end of April. Drawing from over 100 submissions and 3 public hearings, this report deep dives into where the local scene stands now, as well as how to address some of the issues and concerns raised over the course of the inquiry. The leading recommendation of that report is to bring in government-based funding. That government funding would be similar to the former Australian Interactive Games Fund brought in by government funding agency Screen Australia in 2013. SMG Studios, based in Sydney, were one of the game development teams to reap the rewards of this fund.
We were all working together before, but we were not working on our own IP. We were just doing client work. We had a lot of experience. We jumped on the Screen Australia thing while it was still a thing. It's what made SMG possible.
And while crowdfunding opportunities might be hard to get off the ground, once they are, studios can rest easy in the knowledge that they're making a game they know is in demand. Team Cherry's Hollow Knight is one such example.
It's definitely changed the way that we've approached it because we have a more community focus. You're not developing in a vacuum and then hoping people are going to like it. You actually have all these voices saying, hey guys, we're really excited about this. And they talk to you the whole time.
Regardless of what's helped or hindered developers to get them where they are now, or what will do that in the future, it's the drive these people come to the table with that will continue to move forward the local and global game development industries.
When you're always working in like movies and films and all that kind of stuff, you always kind of have to do something for someone else. I just really wanted to make my own, mark in my own game.
It's not like we're all have the same idea and we all just want to do this one thing. We're going to do a little bit of everything. Plus, we're just really excited. We'll poke here, poke there, and just see what wants to happen, and we'll sort of just support that.
But the thing is, if you like to make games and you think that's fun, or comics or anything, we live in an era where you just go out and do it. If you want to get something finished, you've got to start it. It's not going to be perfect, but at least it's there. Just go out and start it.